Hello, my name is Jairo Aguilar,
Hello, my name is Matthew Dunn.
Hello, my name is Wendy Martinez.
and the title of our performance is An Unlikely Union of Three: Cesar Chavez,
Fred Ross.
And Dolores Huerta.
Leaders can take many forms. Sometimes an individual who stands like a mighty oak,
And sometimes just three leaders that entwine like grapevines, and together build a powerful union that bears remarkable fruit.
Today, we present a union of leaders whose leadership resulted in an unlikely alliance and whose legacy continues today in the form of the United Farm Workers.
today we present the union of three: Cesar Chavez,
Fred Ross.
And Dolores Huerta.
A good organizer is a social arsonist. He goes around setting people on fire.
That quote explains what happened in the 1950s, when three unlikely leaders joined together to create a bond that is still strong today: a union of minds and spirits.
My name is Fred Ross. I've been an activist since I was young. I said, a good leader does not lead, but gets behind the people and pushes. I spent my life pushing people to lead in mining camps, to lead in living room meetings, and to lead on picket lines. I was so effective that some say I pushed myself right out of history books. On June 9th, 1962, I decided to go to San Jose, California and push. One person I kept hearing about was a young man with powerful leadership skills named Cesar Chavez.
The first time I met Ross, he was the last person I wanted to see. Then he started talking and changed my life. He did such a good job of explaining how poor people could build power that I could even taste it. I thought, gee, it's like digging a hole. There was nothing complicated about it.
I became Cesar's mentor. For the next decade, we crisscrossed California, forming chapters of the CSO.
The Community Services Organization, the most powerful Mexican-American organization of its day.
During this time, while I was searching for volunteers to be community leaders, I met a young teacher and a single mother, Dolores Huerta. She was passionate, determined, and outspoken, qualities I deemed essential in a community organizer.
I was initially skeptical and suspicious of this outsider Ross. Eventually, I realized he was sincere and interested in helping the barrio residents improve their lives. If I hadn't met Fred Ross then, I don't know if I would have ever become an organizing leader. People don't realize their own worth, and I wouldn't have realized what I could do unless someone had shown faith in me. At that time, we're organizing against racial discrimination, in which Chicanos were treated by police, courts, and politicians. I had taken the status quo for granted, but Fred said it would change, so I started working.
In the CSO, Dolores met leaders who shared her passion for social change. I had spoken highly about Cesar Chavez and his abilities to lead.
I had heard so much about Cesar Chavez and what a great leader he was. When I had finally met Cesar, I was not overly impressed. He was very quiet and humble. He never fought for the limelight. In spite of his mild manner and low key, I soon discovered we had much in common.
Both Dolores and I were young and had so much to learn about being effective leaders. Fred introduced us to Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and other effective leaders who had left lasting legacies.
We were in our 20s, and when we had difficulties, Fred would step in and help us work out leadership issues. He had taught us the leadership skills he had learned over the years.
We embraced nonviolence, empowering through the vote, using home-based means to build leadership in others.
We wanted to fully embrace the cause of one of society's most impoverished and marginalized groups, farm workers. We would use our leadership skills to help out others who didn't realize they could be leaders too. Together, we would use leadership to build a lasting legacy.
We've established the next chapter of the CSO in Stockton. Your leadership skills and our grassroots organization has been the key to helping disenfranchised barrio residents throughout California.
Fred, I've been increasingly frustrated with the CSO's reluctance to enlarge its social vision beyond its urban roots and to fully embrace the cause of one of society's most impoverished or marginalized groups, farm workers.
All my life, I've been driven by one dream, one goal, and one vision: to overthrow farm labor system in this nation that treats farm workers as if they're not important human beings. Farm workers are not agricultural implements, and they are not beasts of burden to be used and discarded.
If there is something to be done, do it now. If you wait until you have all the time, people, and resources, you may still never get there. You too are live wires. Be leaders. Go to work immediately.
We will lead our meetings using a grassroots model. We will meet in people's homes. That will be our organizing method.
Fasts, boycotts, these are the principal leadership tools of Mahatma Gandhi. I believe firmly in these tactics of nonviolence. We can show the world how profoundly these tactics can be in obtaining justice from even the most powerful of opponents.
Say to the workers, you have power. They might say, what power do we have?
Tell them it's in you, your person, with other people and other workers, so you can make a difference.
Si se puede.
Si se puede. Si se puede. It can be done. We will teach the farm workers to organize themselves.
Si se puede.
Si se puede. I moved to Delano, California.
Later, I moved to Delano as well. My children and I lived with Cesar and his family for a time. In 1962, we started the National Farm Workers Association.
We joined the Agricultural Farm Workers Organizing Committee. The two unions became one. UFW, the United Farm Workers Union.
In 1962, we unveiled our distinctive flag, a black eagle on a white circle in a red field.
We would use the support from influential outsiders to fight relentless pressure from large growers and their powerful political allies.
Cesar's hunger strike, Fred Ross's organizing methods, and Dolores Huerta's passion resulted in what most people thought was impossible: a union of the people, for the people, by the people, the United Farm Workers Union. Fred, Cesar, and Dolores' leadership resulted in new leaders. One was Roberto Bustos. He was known as El Capitan, the leader of the 1966 March to Sacramento.
Roberto says, about 2 or 3 months before a march, Cesar Chavez came one night to the organizers' meeting and said,
Hey guys, what if we go to see the governor about what's going on in Delano about this strike and the treatment by the growers and police?
The organizer said, hell yeah, let's load up the families, strikers, and friends and go in a caravan of cars and go see the governor. Cesar looked down and shook his head and said,
No, I'm talking about we walk. March to Sacramento.
Roberto recalls, I thought to myself, this man must be crazy. Maybe all the pesticides in the grape have affected his brain.
Think about it. We'll discuss it later.
Roberto remembers, to me, it was a journey I will never forget, and to be honored with the name Captain to the March to Sacramento.
leaders like El Capitan was a legacy left by Fred Ross, Cesar Chavez, and Dolores Huerta.
On September 27th, 1992, Fred Ross died. The power of the unlikely union of 3 unique leaders whose leadership resulted in an unlikely alliance was passed on to next generation.
Organizing is providing people with the opportunity to become aware of their own capabilities and potential. My legacy is in the leaders I was able to mentor, focusing on nonviolence. Not all the leaders mentored were committed to nonviolence. Some family farmers were threatened and had property destroyed. But Dolores and Cesar's leadership continued to promote their legacy of nonviolence.
On April 23, 1993, Cesar Chavez died. An unassuming and humble man of the people left his legacy in the hands of the leaders he had mentored.
Show me the suffering of the most miserable, so I will know my people's plight. Give me honesty and patience, so I can work with other workers. Let us remember those who have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us love even those who hate us, so we can change the world. Amen.
I moved on from the UFW to mentor a new generation of young Latina leaders. My legacy continues. All of of you, go out there and start organizing. You don't know who you're going to get. You go out there and you have to operate totally on faith. And you always know that somebody out there is going to be wanting to make a better world for people. And our job as organizers is to go out there and find those people. Find them, get them turned on, get them to make that commitment, and do the type of work that needs to be done.